Hey, shalom, 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 shalom. About to get started in just 1 second, so shalom. Shalom, shalom. About to get started. Okay, I'm gonna give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raha, Hodash. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel that do labor and teach the truth with all truth and in sincerity. Shalom to all you Akim, you hopeful elect on the highway and hedges, making your body a living sacrifice, according to Romans 12 and verse 1. Shalom to you sincere believers, which consist of men and women. Shalom, Barakatham, and as always, Abba Ball and DTA. Okay, about to get started. This is your brother Zakar Aban coming back with another video. This will be a pretty much a live sit down. Just a few things I had in the spirit. You know, just a few things I was thinking about. So about to get started. And shalom to the brother Karatazah. Measure the time diligently. Shalom malak. Brakatham to you and your household, King. Shalom, shalom. All right, about to get started in just 1 second. So, you know, let's start with the book of 1 Corinthians 13, but verse 4 is the point. And it reads, if I could speak all the languages in NOT, if I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels, but didn't love others, I will only be a noisy going or a clanging cymbal. All right. And that ultimately going to what? Pretty much not being profitable. All right. Because we don't want to be those servants that are teaching many, but are not profitable. I believe that's in the book of Sirach, should be chapter 37. Okay. Let's read a little bit more. Verse 2. If I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of Adonai Yahweh's secret plans, and possessed all knowledge, being able to do what? Go into the scriptures, go into it and break it down. All right, that's only from the gift of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. The things that we have, it all comes from the Most High. Okay, in the book of John, chapter 3, I'm just bring it out just for edification's sake. This is the book of John, chapter 3, straight to the point, and verse 27. John answered and said, a man can receive nothing except it be given him from heaven. All right, so being able to expound, being able to go to the scriptures, being able to break it down is ultimately as a gift from Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Okay, precept from the brother. I'm gonna grab it. Bear me 1 second. All right, this is see, I'm gonna grab it here. Yep, Sirach, beautiful, right on point. Beautiful, beautiful. The water. Sirach 37 and 19. There is one that is wise and teacheth many, and yet is unprofitable to himself. All right, not able, so ultimately able to teach many, but ultimately is not able to take heed. And now I have a saying that say the scriptures, you know, the basic and fundamental scriptures that we read, we must take heed. All right, many jakes understand, you know, the scriptures, but ultimately are they taking heed to what's really going on? Okay. And Baba Kushah, to the brother, can you put for me Matthew 23, 1, 2, and 3? Baba Kushah, that, you know, that'd be a big help. I'm going to go back to the book of 1 Corinthians 13. And shalom to the brother Kabasha. Now shalom malak, brakatham to you and your household, King. All right. And it reads, if I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of Adonai Yahweh's secret plans, and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains, but didn't love others, I will be nothing. Once again, being what? Unprofitable. Okay, and that moving mountains, you understand that mountains in the scriptures is likened unto what? Governments, you know, and nations. So ultimately, even though that you may have the ability to go through the scriptures, being able to break it down, being able to shake up kingdoms, being able to shake up the prominent people in high positions, if you still don't have the love, all right, ultimately you are once again unprofitable. Okay, hey, the water, King, beautiful. All right, so, you know, just falling back. So Matthew chapter 23, all right, and ultimately we don't want to be those servants that's that are unprofitable. All right, that's what, you know, I'm going into through the spirit. So this is the book of Matthew chapter 23, verse 1. Then spake Yahweh Shai to the multitude and to his disciples, saying the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. Why? Because those was the leaders, those were the teachers. All right, they was the higher ups. Okay, like so that was what you'll call like the masters. When you go to the book of Colossians 3:22, all right, what's the service, obey your masters, those are the teachers. Saying the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. But here's the point: all therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not you after their works. All right, it's falling back off the point where, where it says, Sirach 37:19, they teach many, but what? Unprofitable to themselves. Ultimately, because they behind the scenes, they doing something funny. They moving very funny. That's why, it says that what? There are Jews, that say they are Jews, but are not, because you're not moving according to the traditions of our forefathers. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not you after their works, for they say and do not. Beautiful. All right. James 1:22 from the Bird of Karatazah. But be you doers of the word. Beautiful. Right on point. But be you doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. Once again, you are ultimately teaching. You may be a beautiful teacher, but once again, are you actually living up to the standard of Yahweh B'Shem Al Shai? All right. Are you just doing this to seek man's favor, to seek man pleasing? All right, being a pleaser of men, or are you ultimately building up your treasures in the heavens? All right. Matthew 5:20. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. This once again proves that ultimately that we are to do what? Do the things that are written in the scriptures. So when someone real quick says that not to keep the law, statute, commandment, that's all the way off. All right, because we are ultimately supposed to be doing the things that is in the scriptures, man. Keeping the traditions, keeping the heritage. All right. 2 Timothy 3:13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. And that's right on point, man. Okay, because got great examples of that with the latest topic. All right, with what's that guy's name? Gorilla Hebrew, Al-Azhar. All right, that's a guy that was a bad teacher, a good teacher, but ultimately he was what? Very unprofitable. All right, he got he waxed worse and worse. All right, not just him. You got many camps out there, man. You got men that have been out there for 40-something years, like the leader of ISUPK, and teaching that John the Baptist was not in the truth. All right, them guys are gone, man. Them guys are, waxing worse and worse. Okay, so this is 1 Corinthians 13, and let's go to verse 3 now. If I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrifice my body, I could boast about it, but if I didn't love others, I would have gained nothing. Here's the point, verse 4. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud. And we don't want to be in that spirit of being being proud. All right, that's the wrong spirit to be in. Okay, because when we in this truth and in this ministry, ultimately everything is of the Most High. All right, we exalt and we make our boast of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. So when men say that, you got to do this or do that or check in, ultimately it's all about what? Pleasing Yahweh B'Shem Al Shai. We're not teaching some other way. All right. The things that we have learned and grown up in, now we go out there and teach others as well. Matter of fact, let me grab that. Okay. Should be the book of 2 Timothy chapter 4. All right. So the things that we have learned, 2 Timothy chapter 4, and let's start at was it 1 Timothy? Should be 1 Timothy. If one of you brothers can put for me where it says teach them that are that keep, where is it at? Teach the faithful men. Should be book of Timothy, where it says let's see if I can quote it. Teach the faithful men. See if I can find it. Bear me 1 second, because it's right on point if I can find it. If I can't find it, it's all good. Should be book of Salakia. Bear me 1 second. Oh, here it is. The water. And it reads, 2 Timothy 2 and verse 1, thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Shai, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. All right. So that's what it's about. Okay. Growing up in this ministry. Okay. As it says, the sincere milk of the word, and then you go out there and teach others. All right. Not going by the seat somewhat some vain glory. Okay. Because as scripture does says, where it says, once again, I'm gonna fall back off of where it said, servants, obey your masters. Okay, in Colossians 3 and verse 22. Well, the best way to describe that is Matthew chapter 23, verse 1, 2, and 3. All right. So we still teaching the law and statutes, commandments. But ultimately, some of the things that some of these leaders, so-called leaders, do, we are not gonna abide by it, man. We're gonna rebuke it. Okay. Grab this from the brother. All right. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. Okay, just a few things I had on the spirit. All right, this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 2. And that we may be delivered from unreasonable and wicked men. Beautiful. For all men have not faith. All right, for all men have not faith, man. Okay, and once again, we understand that faith. And Baba Kashar, brother, can you put for me real quick Ephesians 2 and verse 8, just to back that up? Because we understand that, that faith, is a gift from the Most High. All right, and shalom to the sis, the Akwaft, Rebecca Ophir, shalom, sis. Brakatham to you and your household, shalom. Okay? All this is a gift from the Most High. All right? Let's get Ephesians 2 and verse 8. All right? The water. Yep. Just back this up. Ephesians 2 and verse 8. For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of Adonai Yahweh. All right? And that's the point. All this is the gift of Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. Okay? This is not, this is not something that you can will yourself into. This is not something that you can make yourself believe. All right? It's all of Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. So no one can stake claim to this truth. No one can stake claim to saying about your faith. All right? Not even a brother or an elder can have dominion over your faith. Ooh, I got to grab that real quick. That, that just came through the spirit. It should be the book of, bear me 1 second again. Of your faith. All right, because we can't, 2 Corinthians 1 and 24, it says, not for that we have dominion over your faith. And this is Apostle Paul speaking. All right, no one can have dominion over your faith. No one can rule over you like that, man. Not that for we have dominion over your faith, but are helpers of your joy. All right, because ultimately we are to do what? To help our brothers, man, to exhort, okay? And ultimately, to continue to what, build each other up. All right. That's what it's about. But are helpers of your joy for by faith you stand. All right. Last one from Brother Kratazah, Ephesians 2 and verse 9. Not of works, lest any man should boast. All right. Because everything we understand, the Most High gonna have mercy on whom he have mercy on. All right. Ultimately, it's not by works. Ultimately goes back to what? Have you been preordained? Have you been chosen or not? All right. So that's pretty much the point there. Just have a few things on the mind. Ate the water to the brother Karatazah, shalom, for the precept. Shalom to all the Akim that hopped on. Shalom, brakatham. I mean it there. Hey, so Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, brakatham. All right. And call it Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. And shalom to all you Akim, shalom, brakatham to you and your household, Malakim and Akwa, shalom. All right. Shalom, shalom. All right, the water, shalom.